You drag the garage door shut, and the day finally loses its teeth. But the work lamp catches a dark, wet shine under the engine. You reach for the hood, but a sharper tick answers first. Then the fluorescent hum finds you, while hot metal ticks somewhere ahead. Then you crouch, because fresh drips mean tonight might not stay gentle. For a second you freeze, because the sound feels almost deliberate. Under dust, the faded green Mustang waits, but tonight something smells wrong. For a second, your key digs your palm, while the ticking grows louder. Then you tilt the lamp, and dust trembles near the cowl scene. You stop beside the long hood, because sharp fuel hangs in the stillness. When you slide the tray forward, chrome flashes and the puddle keeps widening. By the time you lean closer, one trapped paper corner starts fluttering. For a second you could leave, but the key presses back into your palm. After that, your hand finds the hood latch almost before you think. So it is only night air sneaking under the door, not worse. So you click on the warm lamp, and chrome by the time the hood lifts, old oil smell has steadied you. After that, your shoulders drop and your palm smooths a path. When your hand finds the fender dust, your breathing finally starts matching it. So you lean closer, but one loose hose trembles near the fan. But the key in your pocket feels heavier when the garage settles. By the time you reach for the latch, a faint drip answers first. And when your fingers reach for it, the engine heat still warns you. When you turn toward the door handle, something in you keeps moving. But your rag snags under the seat and you stop breathing normally. Then your rag catches on the visor, and something folded slides free. Then you notice one service page was folded differently, almost carefully hidden. Then your fingers find folded paperwork, soft with dust and old grease. For a second you just stare, because the paper knows your hands. But inside the fold, a parts receipt sits like something worth keeping. For a second, the creases open and that handwriting feels instantly familiar. When you unfold it, for a second, the crease opens. You know the date because it was that hospital week. Because it is theirs. Your hand braces on the roof without thinking. But the lines are yours, written on a night you barely remember. So you set it aside and reach for the linkage before thinking harder. So the garage shifts again, less workshop now than a waiting room. By the time the lamp reaches it, the car feels suddenly complicit. When the washer slips away under the car, your chest tightens again. When the key warms in your palm, keeping this car stops feeling casual. You touch the key beside the note, and your chest answers first. By the time you find it, your fingers touch the missing key too. But by the time you look up, the dash seems to answer back. So the hood and chrome stop being parts and start keeping watch. After all this time, that cold little key feels heavier than metal should. After all this quiet, you lean closer and something else is there. After you glance toward the glove box, the silence seems to lean closer. But when you bring it to the ignition, something under the dash, your fingers find fresh tape where none belonged. But your rag snags under the seat, and your hand stops cold. Then you slide the seat forward, and something taps underneath the rails. Then you peel it back and feel folded paperwork hiding behind the wires. Then you pull out a folded note, greasy and softer than expected. For a second you think it is nothing, but the spare key waits. For a second the crease pattern feels familiar, and your chest tightens first. For a second, you know the handwriting, because your shoulders rise before thought. When you try the glove box, it opens, because nobody else ever did. When you open it, the old paper hits like a voice you avoided. When you read the talk reminder, the old mistake comes back with heat. But behind the papers, an empty photo corner stings worse than any rust. Because you set it on the stool, the whole garage changes shape. By the time you open the box, the untouched part is still there. By the time you sit back down, your chest remembers what you parked here. So you reach for the wrench again, but your hands are no longer hiding. So fixing this now means touching the place you avoided all winter. After that, even the date on the paper feels expensive to unfold. By the time you tighten one fitting, the engine answers with softer shaking. After one careful turn, the engine bay feels closer than any room. So you wipe the steering wheel instead, because motion still costs less. After that, you look back at the paper as the idle almost steadies. But then a faint tick answers below, and your hand hangs there. Then the dust clears, and a faint scratch mark points you deeper. You finally step back, but the room feels heavier when you stop moving. You almost call it enough, but the quiet suddenly feels too honest. You reach for the lamp switch, but your hand stalls above it. Then you scoop up the rag and key, because leaving seems easier. Then your hand finds the door pull, because leaving would end this feeling. Then a folded paper nudges out from under the black seat. For a second, a paper corner catches under the seat rail. But a faint glint inside stops you, for a second, before the latch moves. For a second you think trash, but the paper feels carefully kept. So you kneel back down and ease the brittle fold into light. When you lean closer, it is old paperwork tucked beside the seat rail. When you unfold it, the note is about you, not parts. By the time you turn it over, the car stops being only a car. Then a small photo slips out, and the whole car changes weight. By the time you breathe again, the garage feels less like hiding. When you trace those P-Ensod lines, you recognize the same private pressure. By the time you match it to the dash, you understand the waiting. Because someone once trusted this car to hold what they couldn't. And suddenly the Mustang feels inherited, in a deeper way than metal. So this was never just repair, but a way to stand beside absence. So the years here were never wasted. They were teaching you steadiness. After that, your eyes lift to the dash, and something else wants starting. After that, your fingers find the key again, and something wants answering. After you fold it closed, your other hand finds the door handle. You keep your palm on the hood, because steady vibration answers nothing. For a second, the idol feels steadier than anything waiting beyond this door. But now the engine holds steady, and your hand stays on it. But the closed door looks different now, like shelter turning back into delay. But the paperwork beside your key looks less like clutter now. For a second, your reflection looks less cornered than when you arrived. Then your eyes find the paperwork again, and the key beside it. Then you understand the next repair is outside, because the engine already answered. Then the door handle finds your eyes, because hiding here is finished. For a second you hold those pages gently, not like something postponed. So you wipe your hands once and turn toward the cold handle. You came for sequence, but you found something sturdier than sequence tonight. By the time your reflection meets the glass, you know what stays unfinished. When night air slips you underneath, It feels cooler, but not unforgiving anymore. So you switch off the lamp and keep only what still feels steady. So you tuck the paperwork under your arm. By the time you look back, the garage seems smaller and kinder. When your fingers close on the handle, the room does not resist. When your fingers close there, the engine behind you sounds almost protective. After all this hiding, you decide calm only matters if you carry it. By the time night air reaches you, leaving feels more honest than staying. After it opens an inch, cool air enters, and you still wait. And as the door rises wider, something in you keeps moving too. After all this, you step outside and